Welcome to Beyond the Board podcast. And today our guest is Miles Glickman. Miles, hi.
Hey Arnold, good to see you, pal.
Yeah, we met with Miles on Euroleague Head Coaches Board practice in Belgrade on Red Star practice. And Miles, I think, one of the most interesting and a good people from this practice, and firstly good people on the second interesting. Miles, and could you introduce yourself, your background, where you have played and coached, and how your journey from Chicago to different countries unfolded?
Well, I think we've only got an hour, so we'll probably need three or four podcasts just for the journey part of it. My name is Miles Glickman. I started my journey in inner city Chicago, downtown Lincoln Park on the blacktop, outside every day, rain or shine. And then when it was too cold and I was lucky to get in a gym at 5 in the morning to play with the maintenance men who worked at my school, my older brother and I would be there until they kicked us out of the gym at about 8 or 9 p.m. And then we'd go home and we'd think about basketball. When I was 18, I tried to get out to a D1 college, and there were a couple of schools that gave me a look, but I'm a short gentleman who's pretty slight, and they were very honest with me, and I really appreciated that. They said, "Look, you're going to be our backup, and maybe you'll get on the floor in garbage time, but your job is to be here and be a good practice player." So I went abroad my freshman year to the University of St. Andrews in Scotland and thought I would transfer back, blew my knee out, and stayed there until I finished college. In my third year at university, we had our head coach fired. So they were taking open invitations to whoever wanted to apply. And I said, "Yeah, I'm your point guard. I think I'm pretty good at this. I think I would be very effective." And we returned three players that year. We had a difficult season. We almost got relegated. But the next season, we had built on what we had. And not only did we win our conference, but then we became the number 16 seed in the version of the NCAA
Yeah,
tournament for all of Britain. And we became the first team as the number 16 seed to defeat a number one seed in the tournament. We then beat the number eight seed and went to the final four for the first time in school
that's great.
history.
That's
And
great.
it's a very cool story. The St. Andrews Popes that year, we fought against the administration. They weren't giving us funding. So we renamed ourselves, rebranded, got our own sponsorships, and we had no scholarship players. And we were beating teams that had a full 12-man roster of full-time coaches and full scholarship players. So that's sort of like a D3 intramural team beating Duke and Kentucky. And that was a really good start for me as a coach. I got really
Of course.
lucky in learning how to make a team connect both on the court and then figuring out how do we connect off the court. The 2 hours a day on the court are really important, but what can we do to become better friends? And by doing that, learning how teams function, I think we were able to always get more out of what we had because guys were willing to set harder screens, dive on the floor, pick each other up, and become a brotherhood. And I still talk to most of those guys today.
Yeah,
So
that's great. That's great. It's not great. It's fantastic because you have a really interesting journey in basketball, like seven different lives. You know.
I've been very lucky. I have been overseas since I was 18, so 21 years. From Scotland, I went to India. I did a master's degree there. I was able to have a cup of coffee playing professionally in China, which is a whole different side quest. It was a real great adventure, not knowing any Mandarin at all and being yelled at by a coach who I didn't understand a single word, was a really interesting experience and playing in a couple of leagues there, which was really a neat and unique thing. I came back to England. I got my MBA. I got into law school. I played college ball there. I had a cup of coffee in the BBL in England, and then had three professional games playing American football in
Oh,
Britain. Uh, I had a coach that I've had two, unfortunately, negative experiences with coaches, and both of them made me want to play a different sport. One in high school and one in college. And I picked up a football. Americans have really good hands naturally as a point guard. And the head coach of the football team, Ben Johnson, great guy, said, "Hey, wait, you're really fast and you can catch the ball. All right, we're going to give you one thing to do. You run for 3 seconds, you turn left, you go as far and as fast as you can." And the first game I played, we ran that one play for me, went up, caught a touchdown. If I die with that image of the ball in my hands going into the end zone, I will die a happy man. That was the end of university. Went from there to Australia, picked up a whistle, started coaching, started with 12-year-olds, very simply like, where can I coach? Hi, my hand's up, nice to meet you. Ended up with this fella, Alex Higgins Titcha, when
Yep.
he was about 12 years old, and he made the Golden State Warriors this summer, and he's playing in Cairns right now in
Oh,
the NBL, and really got a lot of reps coaching coaches down there in Bondi with the East Basketball League. And from there, it went to Sydney University. Sydney University was great. Went back to the States, coached my high school team, Francis Parker with Jarek McGee. And from there, was able to sort of in a moment of just pure vanity and hubris, said, I think I've got enough in the tank to make one more team at 39 years old. Went to Southern Italy, where I sort of dreamed of going and playing, found a team, hustled, hustled, hustled until they gave me a tryout, and was able to hitch on with Ape Monopoly in the Serie D and become part of their program. And then came to Belgrade, working for Europe Basket Prep, a really interesting program. Got to you at CZ, and now you have me. Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
that's great. But Miles, you was playing while you was 39 years old at professional league, yeah, in Italy.
Uh, in Italy, but we have a guy, Andrea Bruni, who I believe just turned 47, who is the captain of the Italian men's national 40 and over team, who's still playing on the team, and he's still dunking. He can still throw a
Oh,
360. So if you take care of your body the right way, age is just a
yep,
number. And I really think that guys have the ability now to play. I mean, granted, LeBron and I look a lot alike, and people often
yep.
mistake the two of us and sign a lot of autographs just, to try and make LeBron's life easier. But I think we can all play if you take care of your bodies going forward from 40 onwards. I think it's still golden years.
Yeah, I think age just a number. It will be a quote on the on the preview. But no, I not about age. What did you do before? But you was coaching or you played?
Both.
Oh,
Both. It was very strange to have the opportunity to become a head coach at 21 of a university.
of course.
And because of the latitude I was given, the amount of um, discretion I had to shape the program the way I wanted to, and was able to achieve really strong success for my university, that sort of set me up on a path that wherever I went, I had a quick go-to recipe for how to build a program. And so everywhere I could try to play, of course, I would try to play, but uh, coaching paid better than people wanting to pay a 5'9" point guard from inner city Chicago.
Of course, for coaching they pay money, not cup of coffee, you know.
Exactly, exactly.
But what pushed you to take your career overseas? Was it planned or it just happened?
I wanted to go for university to do one of your 4 years in the US abroad. But if you're playing college basketball, you really can't do that. So I went my first year. I'd always had an affinity with Europe. And after blowing out my knee, the college coaches were very honest and they said, look, you were really fast before, but we don't know if you're going to be
Oh,
as fast. And I stayed and I loved my university. I had an incredible time. I got to meet people from all over the world. I have now played and coached with players from 39 countries, and that was fun. I had a blast. So I stayed, and from there, I kept putting my hand up, like, where can I go? And that allowed me to move around the world following this orange ball we're all addicted to.
Yeah, but what was with your knee? It was some
Oh,
injury?
it was an injury, and it was in a charity soccer tournament. It had nothing to
Oh,
do with basketball.
oh,
It's just bad luck.
yeah, yeah. I understand it. But why did you choose Scotland?
I really liked
Not only
bad weather.
Scotland and India. Scotland and India. You're a guy from the United States and you chose Scotland and India, you know?
And then, yeah, all over the world. So I really liked bad weather and bad food. So Scotland was a perfect place for me to go.
Oh,
They had the world's best international relations program. Prince William had gone there. He lived a couple doors down from me. It's a very excellent school. And I thought, yeah, let's have an adventure. My mother advised me when I was young that you can be anything in life, just don't be boring.
oh.
And this was very much in
This
that
is the
idea.
second quote on a preview, you know? But what
From there, I
about
went
India?
from India. A dear friend of mine from university lived there, uh, or was from India, and he and his wonderful parents in Ravi invited me to come and live with them and spend some time with them. And from there, I went to the Management Development Institute to pursue an international MBA program. It was
Oh,
an adventure. Everything seems to be an adventure, which was great, which is the whole point of life. I've never been good at staying in one place. So I studied there, went back to the States, was working in investments, and said, let's go to China. There's more happening there.
uh, but did you play basketball in India? Maybe on the street, outside, on the court? No, not pro, just like playing
They really like cricket in India.
cricket.
So picked up a cricket bat. We had some fun with that. There was definitely not a basketball court anywhere near me, but I would have started a team if the university would have had a ball. I would have started a team at the university. But it was a good 6, 7 months without a basketball, and
Oh,
it really made me miss it.
yeah, but you was playing cricket while you was in India,
Why not? You know, it was there. We
yeah?
played soccer. We had fun. It was about studying. It was about one of the cool things about being a pro in anything when you're living overseas is that everything becomes, if you have the right mindset, and this is really important, I think, for players who are trying to go pro in Europe. And the program I coach now at Europe Basket Prep is about taking guys who think they might be good enough from all over the world. We had 9 countries represented in our last group of 12 guys, and figuring out, can I make a life of this? Can I even just handle living abroad? And so India, while it didn't give me basketball reps, it gave me great reps in how to navigate a city without, Uber didn't exist then.
Okay, yeah,
I didn't speak any of the language. If you wanted to get a shave, you had to do it in the middle of a highway, with a guy who used the same soap that you clean a bathroom with. But that guy was really good. And learning those things about how to function as an individual, how to get along with people when you can't speak the same language,
yeah,
those sorts of things are so important to a professional basketball player coming from the States, coming from Russia to a different country. When you're the import, that ability to integrate is probably as important as your ability to score the basketball.
yeah.
And India gave me great reps for that, even though it wasn't about basketball.
Yeah, you're really a man of the world, you know. That's that's really impressive. And your next step was in China, Chinese basketball.
Chinese basketball. I had
And
really good fun playing in Anshan for the Anshan Athletics. And then I got into a bank league, which was really great to play for the team of the Construction Bank of China, who also had another import who was a 6'9" South Korean power forward who worked as a security guard at one of the local branches. But by having an internship for them, I was able to play. And by him working out front of the local branch, he'd just sit there all day with the newspaper. I'd walk past him, I'd see him, give him a wave, and then we'd play together. That was an incredible league. And again, these are leagues in places I don't speak the language. So really having to learn how to communicate with the clipboard and communicate with teammates and management, in this case, who didn't speak any English, was really driven home to me that if you want to make a career out of your native country, you've got to learn body language. You've got to learn cultural traditions. Hello, thank you, please. Finding a local saying that when you're in the nail salon or wherever you are and you don't say anything and um, I look, my hands are my tools. I like to get a manicure and a pedicure because you got to take care of your feet. They said it in Forrest Gump, right? Your feet are the most important thing. Bob Marley said, "My feet are my only carriage." And so, sure, I didn't have a lot of friends, so I'd go do stuff like that. And I knew they were talking about me. I understood the term for white guy. I could tell they were talking about me. And then I would drop one small sentence which I had learned uh, from my Chinese grandmother of mei wen ti, which means like no worries, don't worry about it, but super super local. And all of a sudden, like every head would turn in the beauty salon, and they were, but their faces would just go like pale because they thought I understood everything they had said about me for the last 30 minutes. And learning that sort of stuff, learning the little bits of language that make you dangerous, right? That's really important. And that teaches your teammates that you care about them. It teaches management that you care about the culture and the team. And you're not just, I'm in a box, I'm here to shoot the ball, and I don't want to know any of you. That's the stuff that we really try to teach now.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And one additional question: we both were on Red Star game in EuroLeague in Belgrade, and a lot of people were smoking while the game. And what about China?
Uh, you know, they're really good at smoking. What they're even better at is drinking.
Oh,
And I think that, I'm speaking to a Russian. It is one of your great cultural stereotypes, but also, I believe, a great cultural tradition and pastime to be some of the world's greatest drinkers. The Chinese have an interesting idea, which is great at big tables. They like to have 12 people at a table. But when you don't speak any of the language, and every person is expected to make a toast, and I was very lucky. I had my stepbrother there who is Chinese to help me fumble my way through the speeches, but everything is a cheers. And when you don't know what to say, and when no one can speak to you, the only thing they can do is cheers. And so the glasses are very small, but there are lots of them. And I think I probably spent as much time practicing basketball as I did practicing drinking small amounts of beer for 3 and 4 hour sessions.
so, sorry, he's.
That's okay. Let's give the fans what they really want.
But
Uh,
I don't know. He, he don't doesn't want to listen. Oh, he's tired. Uh, okay. Um, sorry, sorry for my dog. Um, Uh, uh, you were in China, in Scotland, in of course United States, in Serbia, and Chinese, and Italy. And what were the biggest culture and basketball differences you noticed between the United States and Europe?
I also spent about 6 years in Australia, so I want to give a shout out to
Oh,
that.
of course, man. I how can I forgive about it?
Well, there's a
Forget.
lot, like I said, there's a lot. And I've also coached in Jamaica, and every culture has a different view on basketball. One of the reasons I've stayed overseas with my love for this game is that I don't want to coach in the US. I coached at my high school because it was mine and I love it and I'm proud of it. Um, and my high school coach was a really terrible person. He was really awful to me and my brother Ron Shade. Um, he was mean, and we really wanted to. I really wanted to close that chapter and be a better coach to the players I had. Um, but after that, I would never coach in the U.S. because of the parents, both at the high school level and the collegiate level. Coaching in Australia was really wonderful because the parents were incredibly supportive at every level. There was an understanding, well, this guy's short and he's white and he's from America, and they made him the coach, so he must be good at what he does. And because of that, there was autonomy and respect. Even at my school in Chicago, there was not that level of respect from the parents, where they felt they needed to interject and coach at every moment, and they felt it was reasonable to yell at their players, yell at the other players, yell at the coaches. And this happens in the college level as well. Parents will go to games. There's a lot more politics in the backside of collegiate basketball. Every staff has 20 guys and they're all vying for the top spot. As John Wooden said, if I get this right, decision making is lonely, but suggesting is easy. And there's constantly a target on your back as a head coach. And everyone in the world thinks they can tell you what you did wrong. So coaching in the US is not at all attractive to me. And I think the way they develop players now is very different to the rest of the world, in which there is more autonomy for coaches to be coaches and the players to have less pressure. America still gets the best players. We have the athletes. Um, we do a great job at developing a lot of the physical tools that players need, but we don't do a great job with the discipline. And we're seeing a rise, I believe, in European players and now Australian players coming to the NBA because they have the work ethic and the discipline. And they're not coming out of an AAU circuit, which is all about highlights and talking trash and being very disrespectful. And look at me, I'm on a poster and the NIL money, all of that nonsense. So I think the rest of the world really has a better handle on how basketball can be played closer to its purest form,
Hmm.
closer to building not only good teammates and good teams, but good people. And I think that's the biggest difference between the rest of the world and the US right now.
Yeah, that's really interesting about people, about parents, but about parents, they think that they know more than coaches. Yeah,
Oh, absolutely.
that's
The
awful.
equivalent I would recommend for a coach, anywhere, when you have a difficult parent to deal with, to encourage them all to come together at the beginning of the season and to ask a few of them what they do for a profession. And maybe one's a doctor, a lawyer, whoever, right? You work in construction. You suggest to them, at some point, I'm going to come to your hospital. And while you're diagnosing a patient, maybe you're performing surgery, or maybe you're in court and you're
Yeah.
defending somebody. I'm going to tell you what you're doing wrong because I've watched a lot of House on TV. Or, you know what, I watched a lot of Law and Order, so I'm going to tell you what you're doing wrong in the courtroom. Or, I had a sandbox as a kid, so I'm going to tell you what you're doing wrong in construction. And as you understand, as your listeners will understand, there is a great difference between being a casual fan, having played the game, and then having lived what it's like at that next level. And that difference of understanding how the game moves is not just the score. It's not the box score. It's why analytics is developing so aggressively. We saw at CZ, they've got like three guys doing video and analytics. I think there were more coaches for Golden State than there were players in Summer League because of the analytics. And there's so much more to the game than there is about who's got the ball. That's not understood in the US.
Yeah, it's it's really interesting. Compare with House. You know, I watched 6 seasons with Hugh Laurie, and I know everything about surgery.
Right. So now you
You
can
do
tell
it
your
wrong,
parents,
man.
yeah, you're doing it wrong. You're exactly.
Take another instrument. Just give me, just give me, take me 5 seconds. I'll do it better. Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. In my country, we don't have things like that in coaching, in with parents, because I think because basketball is not number one sport in our country, you know. But in football, I think sometimes we have the same difficulties like that, like when parents know better, especially fathers,
Well, much
because
as I'm
fathers
learning,
played basketball in their childhood.
well, much as I'm learning about Serbian people, I believe it's the same for Russian. I've never known a Russian to be wrong. And I don't think the Serbians are ever wrong either. So it's a fun thing to try and work through as a coach. You have to be a therapist as well.
Maybe. And about differences, you said that one of the biggest difference is the player development way and about players' mindset. In United States, they play for highlights, for something like that. Or in Europe, they play in a different way. But what about tactical skills and technique skills in United States compared to Europe?
Fundamentals are much more observed and focused on, I believe, in the rest of the world. There's an understanding that we don't grow as many 7-footers who have leaping ability in the rest of the world. So we need to be really proficient tactically. Players at a young age overseas are becoming much more used to working in a system where they don't have to be the guy or the girl, right, who puts the points up, because that's the only sort of statistic that seems to get attention in the US. There's much more emphasis on growing in a system, growing from a young age to high school in the same program, having continuity of care and continuity of coaching so that you know what to expect from year to year to year as you grow. And because of this, you build system players. On the other side of the coin, there are some individual skills that the US will always have as an advantage, much like if you were to compare someone who played jazz and someone who was able to play in an orchestra. The Europeans are very good at producing players for orchestras, and they're the kinds of players that coaches generally want because there's very little ego, there's an understanding of the tactics, there's a comfort in finding a role, filling that role, and being effective. Listening to the coach, whatever the coach says, that's what I'm going to go do. If they tell me to jump, I don't ask how high or how many times. I jump until I'm done. And in doing that, you build great players who might not have the ability to create off the dribble in the same way that American kids spend most of their time getting in their bag, making sure they've got every crossover, spin move, X, Y,
Yeah.
and Z. And if you can combine the two, that's when you get really excellent high level players who have the understanding of how to be a teammate first and then be the guy.
Yeah, I think if you combine this both of these things, you can get a Luka Doncic.
Exactly. Exactly. That's where the world is going. And I really look forward to the rest of the world starting to not only compete with the NBA, but really starting to beat the NBA in the Olympics, beating the Americans, because I think they're very close.
You said that the United States player played more on their instincts, just like jazz, some jazz. Uh, but what do you think? Why coaches don't pay a lot attention to tactics in the United States on a school level? You know?
I believe it is more difficult for high school coaches because they are not receiving a more refined product. The product that you receive at an under 16, under 17, under 18, under 9, right, um, player in Europe has come through a system and has year by year been able to build. And when they go to the under 18s or senior squad, they know 30 plays that they're very comfortable with.
Yeah,
In the US, there's very rarely that consistency. Kids want to go from team to team to team where they'll get the most playing time or the most exposure or where the parents think they'll do best. And because of that, the kids have a hard time. They have to learn something new every time. They have to use their physical gifts to try and compensate. There's also a lot more distraction, I believe, in children in America growing up that prohibits them, that stunts maybe their growth from being in a system. And when you're adjusting to new teammates, when everyone on social media can talk to you now,
yeah,
and you develop your highlight reels and you keep posting that stuff, and then kids are kids. They're gonna talk
of
at each
course, of
other.
course.
Um, that's really difficult. And so when you're in a system in Europe and you are growing as a player and you say, okay, the coach's word is that's it. I don't argue, I don't talk back, I don't have any concerns. When they come out of a program like that, they are much more ready. You're seeing at the University of Illinois, where I think they have 7 Balkan players, and they've figured out these guys are ready. Right? They're good to go. Um, and that's something that coaches are really looking forward to, the character um, of the children, of the players.
Yeah, that's interesting. And uh, about player development, and you work in European basketball prep preparation. This could you introduce this organization for listeners?
It's a really wonderful program that I'm
Yeah, yeah,
genuinely lucky to have found. This is where
yeah,
Instagram is really good, and I was able to reach out. Ivan Sinjekovic, our head coach, is really adept at tactical strategy. And something I wanted to work on as a coach was being better, being able to take what's in my head and put it on a clipboard and make sure my guys get it and that we run it much more efficiently. And not only in English, but that I could work with players from all over the world where we
of
didn't
course.
share a common language, but we were able to speak the same language, and the language is clipboard, right? The language is X's and O's. Um, this program is really unique. It is month to month. We start at the end of every month. We have some players who commit for 3 months to move to Serbia, and we play 2 games every weekend. We have practices and gym every day during the week. They live in nice apartments that are close to the facility. They get picked up at the airport. It's a warm welcome. We really try to build a family for that month, as well as the guys who have stayed. And we take players from all over the world. We've had some Division One, two, and three athletes who thought maybe I'm good enough to get a contract. So they pack up, they come, they join the program for a month, and they get to play in good Serbian leagues and really understand what it's like to live as a professional. We live, we train, and we try to become professionals, understanding that Ivan and I will teach them what we can during the day, during every practice. We'll go over film with them. We will use two tools we talk about. We use an axe and we use a scalpel. And the axe is for shifting big parts of your game away from maybe the US or wherever you've come from to be able to play in a European system. And then the scalpel we use to refine individual skills with every player. Maybe it's footwork, shooting
Yeah.
mechanics. If you're a guard, we're going to really work on how you pass and when you pass and to who you pass to. And all of these very high level things to which you're a good player. But if someone's going to pay you to be a good player, you have to be able to execute these very tight, specific activities.
I saw.
It's a
Uh,
it's a really good graduate program.
yeah. Uh, I saw your first 2 games.
Yeah, we're
Uh,
like a graduate school.
Sorry, sorry for interruption. I saw your first 2 games with your team, and honestly, in the beginning, the guys what was were not so good like a team, but right now I see highlights, some reels with your guys, and I think they become really better than they were 1 month ago. Just on the video, I see it on the video. I don't see games because I can't, but I see that they became better. Really, that's a good program, I think.
It's Thank you. It's really impressive and validating as a coach when, look, these guys in this last month's group were really frustrating
Yeah,
and difficult to work with at the start. And that's great as a coach because I get a full new rep with a team. I get 12 new personalities that I've got to figure out how to get to work together. But they also need to learn to trust each other and to act as professionals. And we do lots of testing that isn't on paper. We do lots of testing about your character and about how to act as a professional. Little things. We will try and test their mind, test their understanding of where they are. The last game we played this past weekend, it was a different team. We had a great win against a good team. We out hustled. We played really, really good defense. We played really hard. And the buy-in, it took a little more time with this group, but to see guys from day one to day 30,
yeah.
not everyone's going to get a pro contract. Not everyone's ready for a pro contract. We try to help them as absolutely best we can. Some guys are delusional, right? I'm delusional. I still think that maybe the Chicago Bulls are going to call me and say, "Hey, Miles, we need a backup point guard for 6 minutes a game on the veterans minimum of $1 a year, and you have to get your own cab to training every day." I still think that call is going to come,
Of
and
course.
we're really, of course, right? But we're really honest with players, and I think that's something that they need. in this world of highlight clips, to have a coach say to you, I like you, but I don't have any interest in lying to you.
Yeah,
I'm going to tell you this is where you're at and this is where you need to be. And we want to help you get there. It's, but it's even more exciting to see the guys come out of the program as better men, as better teammates. Very
yeah,
often, this is the first time they're understanding, how do I get a cab? How do I take the bus? How do I order something in a language I don't speak
yeah,
using a different currency? And if we can help them become better people, the basketball part of it, we know we can teach you that. It's about, can you be a pro? Can you live like a professional when you get a contract in Estonia, when you get a contract in Russia, and you're not in Moscow, and you're the only black guy in your town, right? How do you raise yourself internally to handle that pressure
yeah.
and still perform on the court? And I don't think there's any other program out there that does that like we do.
Yeah, I don't know anything similar program to you, and I said this thing when I was in Serbia. It's really impressive, and uh, uh, this program trying to help people who wants to be a pro. And what separates a talented player from a professional one?
Great question. A talented player can stay a talented player for their whole life. A professional player acknowledges that this is my job. I can't show up late. I can't be rude to my coworkers. I have to respect the boss. It's like any job. It's why I think I really enjoy Nikola Jokic so much as a player and as a person, because basketball is a job for him. The best imports I've worked with treat basketball, it's their love. Nobody's here if you don't love this, but it's a job, and you are expected to put the extra effort in. You arrive early, you dress appropriately. You walk in, you shake every hand. We have a test that I do with the players in this group where the first day I'll sit in the gym before anyone gets there. I'm always doing my best to be early. And I've got a beanie on and maybe a hoodie, and I kind of look like a bum, right? I look as sort of disheveled as I can. I don't have my polo on and look like a coach. No, I'm just a guy
Yeah,
sitting in a dark gym and they all come in and I'm scribbling in my notepad and I don't acknowledge any of them, and practice starts. And the guys come in and start shooting. And what we try to teach them in that is, we want to see, I tell the guys who've been here before, don't come talk to me, right? Like, pretend you don't know me. We want to see who recognizes this is our facility. This guy is clearly allowed to be in our practice. The head coach came over, gave him a handshake. The other guys who were affiliated with the program, who run it, came over, gave him a handshake, but he didn't say anything. We want to teach them these little things about, this guy clearly belongs here and has some respect here. So when you are a professional, you have to go and introduce yourself. You have to be nice to every uh, guy who's a janitor. You have to be the best version of yourself as a person. Then you get to worry about being a great player. And the best guys who make a career at this really understand that it's not just points and rebounds. It's how you integrate with a community, with a team, and how you're invited back.
yeah, it's a fantastic test. And how many players didn't get a handshake in the first session?
There were about half of them.
Oh,
And interestingly, The guys who did, the guys who came up and said, "Okay, I don't know who this guy is, but he's in my gym, so I'm gonna shake his hand and introduce myself," because they don't know if I'm the team owner, they don't know if I'm a scout, they don't know anything about me.
Yeah.
Those guys ended up being our best players at the end of the month.
Oh.
That correlation
Huh.
between understanding the bigger situation and how to treat people as a professional, those are the guys who did much better.
Yeah, that's interesting statistic, I think.
The difference between a good the real difference between a good player and a professional is the professional understands that everyone, when you walk into a new place, everyone may hate you. You're a foreigner. The people in your country, in your new country, might not like you. The people in the crowd definitely aren't going to like you from every other team. The people in your own crowd might not like you because they have certain expectations of who you are and what you're going to
Yeah.
bring. Your coach may not like you because he didn't pick you. Management may have picked you. And your teammates may not like you because you're there, meaning someone they really liked isn't there. You took that roster spot. And a professional knows all of this and can still show up with a smile, show up early, stay late, shake the hand of the janitor the same they would shake the hand of the president of the organization, and put in the work on the court. And that's the difference. Otherwise, you're a good player, have a good time in a gym, in a rec league, and talk about what I could have been or should have been because you're not a professional.
Yeah, man, it's fantastic. Seven simple things that you should do to become a professional player. Work ethic, shake hands, say hello, and respect each other. You know?
Absolutely. We teach the guys, look, you're going to go into gyms in Serbia and guys are going to talk smack to you. They're going to hit you. In pro European leagues, there are three guys on every team whose whole job it is to hit you. And they have five fouls, and their coach is going to be ecstatic
Yeah,
if they injure you. Or it doesn't take you out of the game, but you catch a knee to the thigh or an elbow, and suddenly your shooting percentage comes down. That guy did his job. What we have to teach these players is that, yeah, they're going to target you. You're the import. But when the game is over, you have to shake their hand the biggest. You have to
yeah,
give them the biggest hug. You have to dap up everyone on the other team
yeah.
and the coaches. And you have to, as they said in the movie Gladiator, you have to win the crowd, right? Win the crowd. That's what professionals do. And every guy on every team in Serbia, like every guy on every team in Moscow,
Yeah,
has a network. And if you're the right kind of player and you play very well, because if you're a bad player, you're a bad player, you can be a good guy. But if you're a good player and you make a good impression, you've now got 12 guys on the other team and the coaches and everyone who might say, I know you guys need a point guard, right? My brother's team needs a shooting guard. Let me work for you because you did it the right way.
yeah,
And good players might just be like, he hit me and I complained to the ref and I didn't like this, I didn't like that. We're really happy to send those guys home at the end of the month. Like, good luck because you don't have it in you.
yeah. When I was in Serbia my last day in Serbia, you talked to me that world is too small for good people. I remember this thing, and I think it's like world is too small for good players. Just like
That's
this.
exactly right. The world is the world, I will change the wording. The world gets very small with good people. And when you are a professional and you're a good person, you can take a flight to wherever you go and you'll know someone who plays ball there
Yeah,
and you'll suddenly have friends. Um, or you will find yourself in an instance where you have a friend in common and you can say, hey, this guy played in Moscow 3 years ago. Do you know him? Yeah, I know him, or my friend knows him. And just that little bit of connection, you know this guy plays ball. I know I play ball. We've got something in common. And when you're a foreigner and you're a professional and you're a good person, you will find the right spot to be.
yeah, yeah. And we talking about 1 hour. Just one, two more question. You have a great experience for working and playing abroad. And for coaches who wants to work internationally, what should they focus on?
What I would really work on focusing on is not coaching. And hear me out. My philosophy generally is it's weird until it works. But learning how to integrate yourself to a community so that you can get the cultural buy-in of your players. And most importantly, I think, is really learning how to have a side job that you can work at from wherever you get your job coaching internationally. Because we're not all in the Euro League. And
Yeah,
it is difficult to make a living as a basketball coach unless you are in the EuroLeague or the NBA. And so working on having a separate stream of income that you can continue to do from anywhere in the world, that's really the cheat code. That's really the thing that a coach should focus on. And if you're a player and you realize you're probably not going to get more than 300-400 euros a month to play in your first couple of years because you're trying to build to get to where you can actually make a living, you've really got to find a side job and get pretty good at that. Because if you expect to make a living on being a coach in this world or being a player, that's that's a really hard mountain to climb.
of course. Of course, that's really interesting. If you want to become an international coach, you just don't need to concentrate only on coach. That's interesting.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's really interesting. And last questions for everyone who on this podcast. Just several simple questions. What's your favorite basketball movie?
Great question. Space Jam.
Space Jam. First Space Jam. Oh, I have
First
uh,
Space Jam.
a bunny from Space Jam. I can. Oh, yeah, yeah. Uh,
There we go. There
but
we
I
go.
but it's not mine. It's my wife. But uh, uh, just for fun. And the second question
You know
is
what?
what?
The movie that people talk about a lot. Uh, hmm, the movie people talk about now a lot is Hustle. And while there is so much that's unrealistic, what is beautiful about that movie is that if you have one person who believes in you as a player, you can achieve anything, whether it's basketball or in life. The importance of a coach who says, even an adult
Yeah.
who says, I believe in you to a kid, that's the most important message in any basketball movie, I think.
Yeah, not in basketball, Justin. Not a basketball movie, and not only for basketball, and for life, for your living. If somebody believe in you, you can achieve a lot of things. Not only basketball, maybe in your business and your education, in your family. If someone believe in you, that's great. That's a great feature in your life. And the last question, Kobe or Michael?
Oh, Michael. I
Michael.
Michael. I grew up in Chicago.
Of course, man.
I got spoiled. I got spoiled. I got to go to so many games. I got to watch it. I was so spoiled. I thought this was normal. I thought it was normal that we won every year. It just made sense. These were local guys to us, and so I will always respect and admire Kobe, but I'm a
Yeah.
Chicago guy.
The first time when I met Miles in Serbia, uh, we asked to each other interesting questions. I asked him about you lived in Chicago and did you see Jordan in person, his game? And Miles asked me about Rocky 4. For which one in Russia people cheering? For Ivan Drago or Rocky? That that was a fantastic question, you know. I asked about Michael and you ask about Rocky. That's interesting. And I think at the end of podcast, I really appreciate you to visit in my podcast and say a lot of interesting things about your life, about experience in basketball, about your journey, and some life things, you know, some interesting minds and etc. And it's really useful not only for me, for listeners. I think that's a great things, and I really glad to see you again. And I remember your quote about the world and good people. That's amazing, you know.
Thank you, Arnold. This is a really cool podcast. I thank all of your listeners for taking the time. If you want to reach out to me, I'm at Uncomfortabear. It's the dog's Instagram. Europe Basket Prep, if you're interested in that. Follow AP Monopoly, the best team in Italy. But what's really the coolest thing for all of your listeners and for you and I as friends, the world is a strange place in 2026. And through basketball, you and I, as a Russian and as an American, have this incredible opportunity to become friends. And I get to learn about whether Ivan Drago is the good guy or the bad guy, uh, or if your basketball training program in Moscow, uh, are you doing Ivan Drago stuff? Are you in the snow, pushing logs? Are you chopping wood? No, and it's because we have basketball that we're able to become friends. And that's what this game is really about. So thank you so much for having me, for listening to my stories. And I welcome any of your listeners to reach out and stay in touch.